I am Margot Jones, and I am about to take you on the road with me because the title of my talk today is We Have Been Had. And I will go right from the beginning to where we are now, and maybe, if I have time, what it is we might be able to do about it. We are a democracy right now, and to take you on the road, stop by stop, may show us what has happened in the last 2 years. When did we get on this road? It started in 2021 when someone was denied a second term of office and there was a disturbance. The rush to the State House, an insurrection by about 1,600 people who were arrested. But the president only went to the White House to watch what the people were doing that he had egged on to go to see what was going on. And because he had lost the election, he had 4 years in which to make out a very impressive, I believe, 1,000-page book of what to do to become something that up until about a week ago, I had been searching for the title. He wants to be an autocrat. I didn't know what the word was until I heard it and knew immediately that it applied to the gentleman, excuse the word, it's the only one I could use, that is the president of our country. After the riot, there was to be an election in 2024, and Trump, that was the fellow that did all the things that we were talking about. And I might say Mr. T because it's a very shorter way of saying his name. Was able to, when a court case or two, he was innocent, he pleaded with this Supreme Court for immunity. And he got it because somebody asked what was he going to be immune to. And he was given the answer that 2 cases he had been found not guilty to, were the type of that he would have immunity, the type of case he would have immunity to. I understand that the immunity write-up was something different. It included all kinds of things. Our Supreme Court, we're not really talking about it today, but I will tell you, they should not have the power to say things that become law at somebody's request. There should be a background of all of that, and there wasn't. So he has immunity. That gives the present president immunity too, and he was almost out of office by that time, Joe Biden. And Joe had done one thing that I would have said was a misdoing, and that was raising the minimum wage. Because raise the wage means people have more money, so we charge them more prices on the goods that they buy. That had happened when women got their rights to earnings in one household. Up went all the prices. So that ought to be attended to, but not on my talk right now, because I have to keep going, or else I'll miss the road that I'm taking you on. We are now in the 2024 election. There was one item that won his presidency, and that was the border. Of course, before then, the Congress had gone through and made an agreement of how to solve the problem at the border until there was a directive from Mr. T. Don't you let that pass. That is my item to have on the ballot. And with that, he won the election of 2024. The oath of office was given in January 2025 that the Constitution requires of the person holding the office of presidency. And a whole lot of other people do the same thing too. But the president has an oath of office to support the Constitution. The Constitution is our rules to be a democratic society. And that I want to impress upon you. We are a democratic society where of the people, for the people, and by the people is the backbone of what makes our country run. And we'll get to how important that is just as soon as we go over some of the things that you might have forgotten or even weren't on your list of the items that the first day when, after taking the office, Trump went to the White House and started 70 minutes of mandates or executive office orders, and the very first one was to fire all of the heads of security in the departments in Congress. Congress being the House of Representatives and the Senate. That's the legislature. The president has the executive office. Those people were appointed, elected people. They took care of the security within the Congress, and they had to go. So one of the first things was to replace them by the people we don't have any idea who they are. So let's go on with the things that he did that day. The pardoning of all the people on the insurrection. He wants to end birthrights. There were, I didn't realize it was that many, over 2 million people fired from their offices. Halt payment on grants that had already been approved to have money. Meal on Wheels. There was an uproar when they heard that particular thing. And preschool care. The Inspector General. That is the office was no longer in their offices. The firing of people who were hired was not acceptable behavior. Just because it isn't written that you have to hire in order to fire, that was an understanding of people for ages. And the type of people that were fired were assistants of ailing veterans, processing mortgages, inspecting food, operating parks, procuring weapons for the Pentagon. Air travel was affected and research canceled. These aids were throughout the whole country. Some people who did their job out of the country had no way of coming home because they were fired, but there was no provision for those people. So that was a very mean way of starting our government. We had the influx of the unknowns into replacing all those fired, and in the department of the DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, and you just heard me use the word efficiency. That were all the people that were fired at the very beginning, and that was their job. You've got to get rid of them in order for somebody to come in. So this is our president doing all this on his first day. Despite dismantling, there were so many things that people needed care to. There was what we call a shadow government. Those were the people that I had just mentioned coming in and doing the jobs that, and they were unelected. This is a very important issue. We now do not have all elected people in charge of business in our Congress. Building goodwill around the world was not first and has not been on his list ever since. Oh, there's so many good things in here. All right. So let's start with what he did after the first day. We have due process. Oh, those were the Icemen that came in to do his very first bidding of conducting people himself. They were unknowns going and taking out all the people arrested. So we have tariffs. He took that away from Congress. The big bill. How many trillion over our budget? Only 3.9. That's the big bill. Oh, and he took that out of Congress too, which is in the Constitution. Wow. 70 billion for those people who are on Medicare weren't going to get it. Food stamps, 268 billion no longer getting food stamps. I'd hate to tell you where those monies were going, but I'm going to. They were going to go to the military and to the border control. The rights of the states were being controlled. We have the drug war coming up. Oh, it's not really a war, but he called it a war. Therefore, it was when there were things that needed to be done. Let's close our borders to the boats from Venezuela coming with drugs, because our border at Mexico and Canada were closed to the drug traffic. To stop the boats, you shoot them down. Innocent people were killed. What? There was an aggression that we are fighting against Venezuela? Oh no, that's not what was happening. The word war allowed him to put our troops out there to do invasion. Again, Congress has to approve it in order for it to be a consideration to allow the president to have the title of Commander-in-Chief. And our time is running out, so we'll just go through, I'll just say, ending international support, Greenland, taking control of the country, the flyover being his excuse. We come to, now that Venezuela has had its oil taken away from it because the leader and his wife have been arrested. I forgot to tell you that. And we're now, where can I spend the money to control something? Oh, Iran received 2 bombs to eliminate the uranium that was being changed into making atom bombs. And since that didn't work, how else could we? Oh, we could support the people who are opposing their leader. Oh no, we can't do that because that would mean that I, Trump, would be supporting the people who are not very happy about the Iceman. Oh, so what does he do? He goes into agreement with Israel, who is at odds with these countries, and as a result, he is in a position to think war with somebody else. But instead of waiting to be told what to do, he goes in, he bombs the residence of the leaders of Iran. Now they're gone. That's his way of not having to support the people. But the people all of a sudden realize he's done something very bad, and they are not cooperating with what he thought was going to happen. And so, where has he spent all the money in the budget? There has been all of the things that he wants. Have you heard of any money going to the people? Oh yes, there was one thing. There was the pill reduction in price so that the elderly fat people could have their pills at a lower cost. Other than that, it took 6 months for him to recognize that there were departments in our government that protected some things like emergency bells. Texas did not have them in the town that was flooded, causing 100 deaths. The first time, 6 months out of office. And since then, he hasn't really paid any attention except to take his charge of the military to invade our own people. So we're getting very close to the end of our list of things, but please notice, he has killed the people who run Iran. The people who are now running Iran aren't very happy with what he has done, and they have closed the ports, the control of the Red Sea oil passage, and there's another one that I had never heard the name of. The Straits of Hormuz in the Persian Gulf. And this has, in the 6 weeks plus that he has been in this war, saying that it's going to end, it's going to end, it's going to end, it hasn't ended yet. So guess where our budget is now? It's in the pits. And it is not something we can be proud of. Why has our president wanted to put such a large deficit in our budget? He is a master of bankruptcy. 5 cases against his businesses, and he was bankrupt. So he is taking his experience and has written this tome of how to become an autocratic ruler. And the autocratic, excuse me for the pronunciation. And this is easier to control if the people under his control are having to work very hard just to make enough money to pay today's bills. Nothing is going to be saved for the rainy day because he wants complete control of the Social Security, which is where people with faith, that the money they put in would be taken out at retirement time. This is one of the sources of money. He wants to pay our debt. He also wants to raise the prices of stamps to pay our debt. And as the days go on, at the price of $1,000 1 hour, a military plane is with ammunition in the air. $1,000 an hour, one plane. And there are 120 planes on one of our battleships. That, just getting them off the ship, creates a tremendous hole in our budget. But if people have to think only of what it is they can do to survive, that is the country that an autocrat wants to run. I will give you an example that I only heard of just a few days ago, and that was the country of Poland. They had been an autocratic society for 12 years under the leadership of one person. He's called an autocrat. And Trump wants to become, because he's destroyed and rules things that should never have been allowed. And I'll have to admit, taken by surprise was one of his defenses, because people were not expecting it and didn't know what to do when he broke so many rules that says this is wrong in the Constitution, this is wrong, we have this to do in the Constitution, this is where the order of war has to be put in order to have one. When he invaded Los Angeles, he didn't go to Congress to get permission. That very day he was there, invading our people with our troops, using our money to do this against us. And he wanted to divide us more. He wanted all those states which had a rally against this ICE procedure to be on the list of invasion with our troops. There became deaths with this, and the people just are still concerned. So I have to get on to what can we do, because we're the people. And because we have the right of vote, and the states have the right of, please excuse my voice being so projected. I'll calm down, because this is important for you to understand. Our states have the right of vote. If we have a constitutional convention, it does not have to go through the legislature to get it. It can go by the people and the states. If we can have a continental Congress, the things that they can put on the ballot, and that ballot can be a voting day of their selection, because it is not a government ballot, it is the ballot of the committee. There would be on that several items that, first of all, to fire the president and his regime. This would be all of those people who support him in the executive office right now that are not the elected people. There are many. And a sideline of this is, I did a trip to Russia at the time when this type of government was going on, and this regime around Putin was the holder of 90% of the money of the country. leaving just over 9% for all of the people. They are millionaires. There are big business people who support this, and they're not, however, in the executive confines for that. But this is an item that needs to be taken care of. After that, and hopefully it could be put on as a amendment, but the amendment items that we need to have on is no immunity to the president, period. Because it was a bad decision by the Supreme Court, maybe we should have some rules about the Supreme Court too, only giving positive and negative response to a case, not this. And then the what a president should be. There are so many things that are on that list, but the no mandates, executive offices, orders with approval. The reason for executive offices staying on is because that is a time to give aid to the people when there are invasions, when there are natural disasters like tornadoes, floods, fires, all the things that occur to people, starvation and inflation, all those things, that are things that the president should uphold. Since he has not been upholding, he has not given anything to the people. He's just taken, excuse the expression. All right. And also, the character of the president should be slightly put on, because Trump is not an honorable man. I had been a Republican. I voted for him. And within 3 months, he showed he was not an honorable man. Now take the word honorable. Take out the letter or the word no. HORABLE. We have a horrible man if you have no honor. And I'm getting very close to ending this. Besides the president's list on the amendment possibility, women, the third one should be women should be free. They are equal, but men have voted that they have no right over things that happen to their body, because a person who has a need for having an whatever they have, abortion. You can see that's not one of my good words. If a person does not have control over their body, as abortion is a control, then we have no freedom. And we are equal. We got equal rights, but we are not yet freedom. And so I'm going to have to end with that. My time is gone. Please, if you are a person who loves Trump, please consider the years ahead that Poland has had a vote to end the autocrat in their country, to return to a democratic society. And I pride them on their accomplishment. I think we need to have something done so that all of us could be proud of what we have done to return our country to the democracy that has been so outstanding. I just wish it could happen before July 4th of this year, when we are celebrating our 250th birthday of the birth of our Constitution. Please, if you are asked, think twice. Do what is right for the country, whether it is not something that you really want to do, but are you an American citizen first and just a person second? Or are you so ingrained in just wanting to be you that you don't consider the rest of the country? Just think, we are the USA, United States. All of the things that the states take care of now will still be able to be taken care of if we have a democratic society. And let's have it return. Please, take note. If it comes time, help. Give your opinions. And I hope I see you in July with a smile on your face. Oh, please, when there's a birthday party for Trump, do not go and attend it. That would show your concern for the country. My parting words. Thank you. If I need to talk to you again, I'll try to be more precise, but there's so much that goes on in my head that I need to say. Thank you for listening. Over and out.